Welcome back to another devlog on my airborne farming simulator. This time I finally implemented the shop, which is a huge deal because it's now finally possible to make some sort of progress in-game. I didn't want to stop at just the bare minimum though, so I tried to add many interesting and unique interactions to make the shop feel more immersive, like a locked hatch that goes to a hidden area, and a basket where you can buy some mysterious capsules that the shop owner doesn't know the origin of, but decides to sell anyway in exchange for a commission. So let's take a closer look at this important, yet odd location. To start, the purpose of the shop is to give you a place where you can buy items and machines to improve your farming efficiency and progress through the game. It's located in the top left of the main downtown island, which is only a short walk from your house. We haven't seen this area in a long time, but I did update it to use the newer ground tiles, and I even added a new tile design for the pathways. The shop itself has dark stone walls with a slanted red roof. As usual, this design isn't necessarily final, but is in the direction of what I'm aiming for. It uses a style that's a bit dark and rustic, which reflects the sort of mechanical things the shop sells. In order to provide the shop's services, I created a shopkeeper. He uses the cloaked character sprite, but that's just a placeholder, and I'll probably settle on a proper design sometime later. When you interact with him, the shop menu opens, and you can look around and buy whatever you want. I actually found it to be surprisingly difficult to design an intuitive, yet fully featured menu. Most of the menus I've previously worked on have been quite simple, and they didn't need to manage as many components as the shops do. Despite that, I think this design turned out very well. The balance is always shown on top, the columns are labeled, and each item has its own lane where you can see its price and supply, and change the amount you want to purchase. Item descriptions are also shown on the bottom, though I haven't actually added them yet, and you're always asked for confirmation. My favorite bit is definitely the blinking yellow glow that highlights your selection. I like it so much that I'll probably use it for other menus as well. But yeah, user interface design can be a bit challenging, though I found that sketching my designs beforehand on paper helped a lot. As for the items, they're also a very interesting subject. Every machine I've talked about previously is sold here, as well as some of the other items. They're mostly ordered in the list the same as you'd be likely to obtain them. So first you get the magnetizer to make collection easier, then at some point you'll get a compressor, and then eventually an enricher. This helps to guide players towards certain choices without necessarily forcing anything on them. Most items have an infinite supply, with the obvious exception of key items that you'd only be able to buy once anyway. However, there are other cases where supply is limited. One example is the Sky Orb, which can only be bought once per day. As a reminder, the Sky Orb increases the amount of Cetarium that appears in the air. By limiting the amount you can buy, you'll have to think more carefully about when you choose to use them. On a related note, I haven't implemented anything like this yet, but I think it could be neat to make certain items exclusive to certain days of the week, or maybe even appearing randomly. Though if I were to do this, I'd have to be careful not to make it too annoying. As part of creating the shop, I also introduced two completely new items. First is the loyalty card. As long as you have one in your inventory, you can collect points when you shop at a store. I'm not sure exactly what these points will do yet, but I like the idea of rewarding the player for not hoarding their money. The second item is the gold ring, which sells for $1,000. Making it the most expensive item in the game by far. The gold ring is a progression item, which as of now actually marks the end of the game. So basically, the whole point of the game is to earn enough money to afford this ring. Now, I definitely see the problem with this. If the only goal in the game is to earn money, then it's possible that the player can skip out on entire systems of gameplay to earn the money some other way. As such, I might add additional win conditions sometime in the future. But for now, it's nice to be able to actually reach an end. But wait, there's still more to see inside the shop. In addition to the shopkeeper, you can also purchase mysterious capsules from a basket sat on top of the front desk. The context behind them is that they're not provided directly by the shop, but by some individual you've never seen or heard of. The shopkeeper doesn't know much about them or the capsules either, but only sells them because the shop makes a commission from doing so. Currently, I'm not exactly sure what these capsules should do, but I think the premise behind them is really interesting. One idea I have is that the capsules contain messages that each reveal secrets around the world. Or maybe when they're all put together they reveal a large secret. Either way, I think this feature has a lot of potential. I also placed a hatch on the ground in the shop. Once again, I don't have any specific plans for it, but I think it could make for an engaging puzzle, where you try to solve how to get in and find out what's there. I'm really passionate about adding these strange and mysterious elements because I think it makes the world more immersive. What you'd expect is that it's just a basic shop, where you can buy a certain set of items, but by showing there's more to it beneath the surface, it encourages you to be more observant and inquisitive of the world around you. Lastly, I should also mention some of the usual HUD updates. Money is now shown with the fractional portion in a smaller font, which I think looks more appealing. The money counter also now briefly shakes and flashes gold whenever the value changes, which makes collecting money much more satisfying. The black HUD element is now slightly transparent, the weight counter gets redder as it nears capacity, and days are now named rather than numbered, so there's no more day 1 or day 2, but instead Monday and Tuesday. So where do we go from here? Well, as I suggested earlier, it's now entirely possible to beat the game from start to finish, though the gameplay is hardly fleshed out that much. This means that I'll be spending most of my time now adding additional features to make the gameplay more complex, as well as polishing up the features that are here so that the game can get closer to release quality. Thanks for watching. Bye.